Hello, I'm Opal Lei, known in real life as Lea Tesoro, author of Love Like Dim Sum. Today you're going to meet a young couple who use Second Life to bridge the distance between their real lives. She lives in the US East Coast. He lives in Egypt. We'll hear their story and we'll also get to visit their lovely and unique home.
Oh love, sweet love, in the late nights of the spring, there's so at ease at love's release. Oh love, it's a beautiful thing.
Our guests today are a couple who have been together since January 2012. She lives in the US East Coast, he lives in Egypt. And in Second Life, they live in a beautiful East Indian-styled castle with painted elephants in the garden by the sea. She is Ms., whom I mentioned in my book, and here's that quote. I met Ms. when she contacted me with questions about the Merbetta mermaid tales that I created and sold. Ms. said that the reason she chose to become a mermaid in Second Life is because her religion forbids her to display her body in real life. By subscribing to the mermaid fantasy in Second Life, she gets a chance to celebrate her body, her femininity, and her sensuality. And he is her partner, Landmire. Ms. and Landmire, welcome to the Bamboo Grove.
Thank you, Opal, for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. This place is lovely.
Thank you. So let's get started. Ms., tell me how you discovered Second Life and what kept you in Second Life.
Okay, I found SL when I was exploring things such as like MMORGs. An example of that would be WoW. SL was a virtual world, of course. It was different, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So when I had met you, it was basically the beginning of my SL. It was my noob days, and meeting you was actually very cool because you helped me become a mer, and being a mer is what actually kept me here.
How about you, Landmire?
Well, I discovered Second Life from a TV show. It was like a kind of a review for online games. Believe me, I wasn't a guy who was interested in online games, but you know, I was like, why don't I just give it a try? Just try to explore everything, you know, everything around. Always just trying new things. So I just got myself into Second Life. What kept me like in Second Life is discovering, you know, new traditions, you know, because simply you're just meeting people from all over the world. Also, it's you know, I have been working as a photographer, so just I'm getting into photography. That's what really fascinates me about Second Life.
And you still do the photography, is that right? Because I've seen some of your photos of Ms.
Yes, I have been doing this like for a long time, like over 2 years. But for the meanwhile, I'm just having a break, you know, for some real issues.
So, would you give me a brief overview of your romantic life in SL?
Yes, a brief overview would be, yes, I've had several relationships in SL, but none have been as important to me as this current one because this one has lasted about 8 months and none of my prior relationships have lasted that long. Those relationships consisted of 1 month to 2 month relationships, which ended up fast, and most of them did not consist of a real life expectation from the other person.
And this one has a real life expectation?
Yes, we have plans and hopes and desires to make what we have here in SL something real someday.
Cool. How did you two meet?
Landmire and I met because I hired him to be my photographer for a contest for Reborni, and which is really funny because the house that I currently own was made by Reborni. My aim was to buy that house, but I didn't want to buy it because of the contest. I figured I would get a credit. I think the credit was about 1,000 lindens. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's what it was. I would have gotten $1,000 in credit if I had won the contest. The photographer would have gotten the money, but I figured I would convince somebody to, you know, give me the credit and they could get the recognition for the photo. So that's how it was. And I went photographer searching, and he was the only one that was in my price range. He was charging like 4,000 lindens per photo for contests. So I said, well, okay. I looked at a variety of photographers, and he was the only one I found that was realistic as far as the amount of money I had at the time to spend on a photo like that. And then I hired him. I came to his studio, and we took pictures, and then we went to the stem and took pictures as well. And after that, I guess he just decided he didn't want to edit the photo. He was more interested in the girl than he was in the photo, for sure.
Very cool. What struck you about Landmire? What made him special?
What makes him so special is that he is such a well-rounded, dynamic individual. He's not just smart, but stylish as well. He has great taste. And it's very hard to find someone who is very concerned with his health, his appearance, as well as his intellectual capabilities.
How about you, Landmire? What is it about Miss that made you think, yep, she's the girl for me?
Well, in fact, she has been, being herself. That's it. Just being herself. Because simply, you got a lot of experiences all over your life. I mean, like your real life or second life, both are the same for me. So, I mean, some people who are just trying to pretend that they are someone else. But with Mez, she was amazing. She was just the one, she was acting as she is, That's it.
Ah. Okay, next question. What made you realize that you want something more than friendship from each other? Like, what made you decide to partner? I assume that you were friends before you became lovers. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
So what made you decide to move forward?
I really didn't view it as anything much more at that time. I had my doubts about SL relations and just SL in general. I was trying to stay away as much as I could. I would come in for an hour or so and leave. I was not here for as much as I am here now because of this relation. But what made me realize it was that he said something. And I started to view it like, wow, so this person is actually interested in me, and then it clicked. Why not? Like, you know what I
mean? Back up.
Why not give it a try?
Back up. What did he say?
He had said, hey, I really like you, and I like spending time together, and it was just like that. And he thought I was very beautiful, and he liked me inside and out, and he wanted to give it a try.
Okay, so it wasn't any line. He wasn't like a pickup line kind of thing.
No, not at all.
And you felt the sincerity in it.
I did, and I was like, hey, this is someone that has the potential to be compatible with me because, hey, he's right. We do have a great time together when we're together, just as friends, but I had a bit of feelings for him. I was obviously attracted to him, but I didn't know enough intimate details to be emotionally attached, which is normal, I think. You don't just develop an emotional attachment with someone in 2 weeks, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But I was like, it can't hurt to try.
Okay.
And he was like amazing enough that I was astonished enough to be willing to give the try.
So how did he propose? Did you propose? Or was it just like, let's do it?
Well, I did. In fact, I did. I was just like, it was her birthday, and yes, and it was like we would like to make it like something really special, about the date, so we can just like get her, remind ourselves and just making this kind of anniversary, every year because we are planning. Because I think it's a lifetime contract, isn't it, Ms.?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you spend your time together when you're in Second Life?
Well, in fact, we hang out. Just like we are, like most of the time we are spending our time in our house. We simply, we have a kind of like a busy real life. So we have like really few time, really few, it's not long enough just to stay in Second Life. So we just, getting together, start talking about what we have been doing all day, and just like, and well, for sure, we have like this kind of private moments.
Yes.
But yes, but for sure, just like we are trying to enjoy our second life to the max in here, trying to make it like, because simply she's away, as you mentioned before, she's in the States and I'm in Egypt. So the only way that we can get in touch, like we are together, it's second life. So we're trying to make our time special, trying to do what we'd like to do, what makes us just happy.
Do you have problems with getting your schedules to mesh? Being in time zones that are very different.
Actually, no, because it's very well formatted. Usually it's a pattern about when we're both on at the same time, so it's very predictable. If anything, I can always just contact via phone or write and, ask for him to be on or anything like that.
So you have so you know each other's real life info, is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And when did you decide to reveal? And what prompted you to reveal?
I don't remember. He can answer that.
Well, in fact, it just among my friends, because simply we started as friends. I always like someone who just, when someone asks me about where I live, or just how old am I, and just this kind of like personal stuff, I just say, I answer them, because simply I have nothing to hide. That's what happened between me and me as well. What really make me really comfortable with her, just like, when you are looking in the mirror and you find a reflection, of your body or your face. That happened with me, between me and Nez. So I feel really comfortable. I shared everything with her, and she did the same.
Wow, that's a very sweet sentiment. Um, and you do communicate outside Second Life, like Miss mentioned. You do emails and a call. You even call by phone.
Oh, yes, I call all the time.
Aha.
Yes, we do that.
Um, so what do you think makes your relationship unique from others that you've had? Let's start with Landmire.
Okay. Well, this is kind of a really hard question.
Okay, sorry.
But in fact, I can answer, because simply, like as we say before, it just, what really made our relationship really unique is that it's based on trust. Just however, we have like there's a thousand miles between me and her, just but we just trust each other. It's just about trust. That's for one. For two, it's about how much how much you love the person that you are in love with.
Any lessons that you'd like to share with our viewers?
A lesson for viewers would be to just, I suppose, learn how to. It's about learning how to put your ego down and learning to put unionship above all of that. It's not about your own personal interest anymore. It's about the interest of someone else and you together.
Landmire, would you like to add to that?
Well, I can add something that you should trust your partner, by all means. Whatever happens, because simply, every relationship has ups and downs. You're going to have a lot of people trying to get, between you. But what really matters that you love your partner and just try to love her to the max. That's it. That's what it's all about.
Miss Landmire, thank you so much for joining me, for sharing your story, and for opening your home to us. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We'll show you a clip of my visit to their home. Then we'll take a break, and when we return, Harper Beresford has tips about body shapes. And no, she won't talk about the apple and pear body shapes. It's much more than that. And of course, I'll give you a hint of what's coming up in the next episode.
nights of the spring, they're so at ease at love's release. Oh love, it's a beautiful thing.
Hi, welcome to Harper's Fashion Tips for the Fashion Savvy. Today I wanted to talk about shapes, specifically how to choose one that's right for you. Usually when people first get to SL, they decide to make their own shape because it's free and it seems to be easy, and it's their first chance to self-create an SL. That's why female avatars end up with huge breasts and male avatars have linebacker shoulders. So how do you get a shape that works for you? If you can't be bothered making a shape, look for one that is sold. If you see a photo of one that pleases you in a shape store, chances are the creator will give you a whole style card, which allows you to know where to purchase the skin, hair, eyes, and clothing you see on the avatar as well. This is one-shop stopping for the shopping impaired, especially men. If you decide to make your own shape, consider starting with a purchase shape and modifying that to your liking. The other alternative is to download a copy of a graph showing body proportions. A quick Google brings up pages of such photos, and clicking through shows blogs and explanations of ratios for body proportions. Put all the levels to 50 in the sliders and work from there. There has been recently a trend of making female avatars with very wide hips and thin legs. This is neither attractive nor interesting. It's just ugly, and it makes fitting clothes difficult. The same holds true for the face. Find another photo of face proportions or of your favorite model or the look you want to replicate. Set everything to 50 and move from there. Adjust in increments of 5 to 10, and eventually you'll find what you want. What you want to avoid are the exaggerated faces that look less human than animal or anime. Overly large eyes that peer out foolishly, very small eyes in proportion to the face, extremely thin and small noses, and the worst, the oversized sourpuss lips meant to look pouty. If the face you look makes it look like you'd be diagnosed as having a birth defect in real life, it's not right. Don't convince yourself it looks good. It doesn't. For more tips, visit my blog at slfashionpassion.wordpress.com. And thanks.
Join us again in the next episode when I'll be talking with an alt whose main account has a number of virtual relationships with partners who themselves have other virtual relationships. And her real-life husband, who is not in Second Life himself, knows all about her affairs. We'll be here in the Bamboo Grove in Talk Like Dim Sum. Thanks for watching.
Oh love, sweet love, when they finally start to sing and your life feels right and you're filled with pride. Oh love, it's a beautiful thing. Making eyes at the pretty little girl in the backyard of his friend.